Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the technical trader at thetechtrader.com. First of all, apologies for not being able to get this out yesterday. As you know, I was away with my daughter at college, and today had sound problems. So let's see if this is working, and hopefully we'll get it going. That first recording I thought was spot on, so let's see if I can duplicate it. Folks, we have a market that's in trouble. Okay, first of all, the S&P 500. Let's step back a little bit and look at the intermediate pattern. It goes back to last October, the market hit a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave pullback low to the longer term, to an intermediate channel bottom, I should say. The longer term channel is a little different. Let's go back on a weekly and you'll see what I mean. Now, if we actually ignore this spike and draw the lows off of all of these lows in here, then we have a much more parallel, accurate channel. However, the market certainly has gotten away from that and had a big run up. Now, recently broke down, held around the moving averages for a week, popped for one day. Talk about a head fake right there, head fake breakout. And then immediate reversal with an engulfing big reversal bar and the downside followed through with a gap. Now this evening, the futures are sharply lower. I mean, down 200 on NASDAQ, something like that. So it's not going to be pretty tomorrow morning unless things change overnight. But what I'm looking for now is if it doesn't hold here, a hard drop spike down into the 5200 range. That's 146 more points down on the S&P. Now I don't know if we get there. We'll watch for a big negative tick to 1500. Watch for McClellan offset to be much deeper where it is now, and we'll show you where the VIX might be spiking up as well. We'll show you where they are right now in a little bit. There's the S&P. Here's the NASDAQ 100, which is similar, almost a head and shoulder top, but a weak right shoulder broke down, and then our snap back right to that level, and the moving average failed, and we come down sharply in 2 days. NASDAQ 100 has dropped from over 19,538 to 18,250. Now we're looking at almost 1,300 points down in just 2 days, folks. Big drop, huge. You don't see that too often. Now we're at the pullback lows from the end of May, early June, but we're below the moving averages and everything else. And at this point, an intermediate trend line comes in through here. It goes way back, more than intermediate, year and a half long. So you can see that any bounce back is going to have resistance at 18.8, and support, if broken here, could lead to a quick move to 17.8. Keep your eye Monday morning on the ball because it's going to be important if we get the big Sunday climax to be aware of that. Here's an interesting reversal downward, and this is what was a telltale for me. Transportation and small caps just hit the shit at the fan, so to speak. It broke out, reversed, and they got slam dunked, going from about 225 to 207 with a 206.79 low, right at support at the moving average as well, not far from the parallel trend line. But on big volume too. So what best I can hope for is a bounce back to resistance. And if it comes with big volume, maybe. But to me, it's the beginning of something much more dire, potentially. And so if we do get a bounce on the IWM towards 215 and the transportation index, which collapsed as well, it snaps back towards 15,450, and it does it so in kind of a bear flag or coiling type fashion, we're probably are headed lower towards 15,000 and 14.6. And that's a look at the indices, and it's not a pretty picture. Just quickly, I want to go back to the S&P for a minute and show you a long-term pattern. You can see we've been in a really strong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move up over a long-term period, and now we've turned down. We're right on key support here. Next major support for the S&P, in my opinion, is 51.90, and then I'm looking at 49.50. And believe me, we break there, we have a disaster on our hands. So it's not a pretty picture, indeed. Now, what about the underlying technicals? Well, you would think the McClellan offset would be more oversold than it is, but there hasn't been a kind of advanced declines that we normally see on an up-down volume, which is what this index is comprised of. We did have a huge pullback from plus 100 to minus 83 on Friday with a big gap down. You don't see like gaps on this index too often. We had one here, which resulted in a snapback. But there's another one, snapback. So sometimes, but it looks like tomorrow's going to be opening lower anyway. Watch for something down around 150.60. If it gets really, really bad, 200 to 220, that's where I would be putting money to work on a long side. For now, if you can get a bounce and the market looks weak, that's where you might want to do a day trade short. I would wait for it because the opening, after a big drop like we have, could result in a snapback. You don't want to get caught. All right, so that's a look at the McClellan oscillator. The percentage of stocks above their 40 has dropped dramatically from 70% to a low of 40% in just a couple of days. So right now, less than half the stocks are participating, but that's understandable with the market the way it is. What about the VIX? Got woke up big time. Check this out. Exploded from 1580 to 30, or 2990 or 2966, whatever it was, up near key resistance from the February 23 high, sorry. And so either we explode into the 38 range and end it with a sharp drop in the T2106, which is the stocks above 40%, above the 40-day moving average, sorry. And the T2106, which on Teletrack 2000 is the McClellan oscillator. And you can see that's minus 65. So that's a look at the underlying technicals and the indices. Well, what about the major components of the market? You can see Apple broke an intermediate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-way move up, came down, bounced around, tried to rally with the market. Well, basically did a kiss back to the moving averages and trend line, and then came down on Friday. But it actually closed up on the day. I'm not sure that lasts long. If Apple breaks immediately on tomorrow morning, we should see 208. That's 11 points down. Amazon, that is one nasty looking breakdown of a long-term pattern. And it breaks through everything and even fills that gap. And we may get a bounce, if it did get a bounce, from 160 to a close of 167.75. So a 7-point rally late, but tomorrow may be a really nasty start to the day. We'll see. Google, again, a really nasty break of a trend line, a bounce off the moving average, a plunge for 3 days to check out support, and a bounce. But that didn't get anywhere except up to the gap, even a little bit below it. And now that's rolling over. So not looking very good. Basically a 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fifth wave could spike this down to 155, give or take a point or two. That won't be pretty. We could be setting us up for a crash mode on Monday. That's just exactly what it looks like to me. Stupid panic. Netflix, roll over as well. And now near the intermediate trend line. Any further damage here? We're likely to see 584, maybe as low as 550. Meta, the big spike on earnings and right back down again. It's a little bit better than the rest, but you can see support at 458 and 435. NVDA, well, certainly the monster in midway that bounced. You can see this when this reversed with a big engulfing reversal day on Thursday. An ominous sign for the rest of the tech market. Sure enough, follow through Friday and then a bounce, but this is the key. We really don't want this below 101 because then you're looking at 95 and maybe even 88. Are we going to get a plunge wipeout like we did here? Spike it down, reverse it? Well, we're going to find out. And finally, Tesla really rolled over hard from 272 down to 208 just in the last 3 weeks. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth wave down. Some support at 199, then you're looking at 184.5. So not a pretty picture for the NASDAQ generals, indeed. So now you've seen the indices, the underlying technicals for those indices, and the leading components of the NASDAQ 100 and basically the S&P 500 as well. We have a lot of stocks that, you know what, before I get going, I want to also show you some of the major ETFs we follow. Look at the semiconductor, SMH, in Philadelphia. I'm sorry, that's the then vectors, semiconductor. Broke support, broke the moving averages, plunged, bounced around, double bottom, broke down. Right now my support is in this zone, and it's a big one, between 200 and 205. I believe that gets tested maybe as early as tomorrow morning. Biotech's not much better. XBI broke down to the trend line. If it breaks here, we're plunging towards 90. Careful on that. LIBU is the other one we follow in the biotech sector, very similar on the trend line. Cannot afford a breakdown, or we're going to see 98, 99. That's a long way from 122. And the financials, well, all you got to do is take a look at two stocks. Goldman Sachs, plunge time. JP Morgan, plunge time. You can even throw in Citibank, crack goes the wood. And then BAC and Wells Fargo. All of them plunging, breaking key support. Really bad sign for the market. Now, they may all bounce towards resistance, but the feeling here is that this is the beginning of something much worse. So watch resistance. If we get through easily with volume, that's a good story. If not, we may have a big problem, folks. Not a happy camper about what I'm seeing in the market, that's for sure. Okay, so we covered the majors, biotech, financials, and semiconductors. And so let's take a look at some others. Oil, well, here's the USO, 100 below support too. Next target, 70.71. Oil down. As a result, SCO spiking back up again. It could blow out. Get to 19, we might see 21 and 22. Gas, well, oil is getting crushed. Natural gas seems to be going down nearly every day for the last 6 weeks, but it isn't every day. Nevertheless, we're in a downtrend. The opposite, the bear for nat gas has gone from 33 to 84. What a move just since mid-June, maybe extended, but certainly a bullish short. So that covers what I wanted to cover. Just to look at gold and silver now. The GDX, big engulfing reversal bar. NUGT, this is on the downside, similar. Anything gold other than a few of the junior golds, I'll get to them a little later, but I'm skeptical about gold and silver here. I know that my buddy Abby thinks we may be starting a big leg, or we have an opportunity to do so, but I'm not seeing it until I get a breakout. Right now, I'm going to need move over 37.5 with energy on AGQ to say it may have turned it around. Broken channel, gap, snap back. If it fails, we're going to 31. Okay, we got a lot of stocks to cover. I'm going to go over them as quickly as I can. ABBV, look at this major biotech pharmaceutical company. Blowing out to new all-time highs. It got up to near 194 last week. The stock was just 172 a week and a half ago. What's the target? Probably about 215. AEY, big base, strong move up. That took months to develop. Then an orderly retrace, a coil, and a pop. Now the pullback to the breakout point. It either pops from here or it rolls over and retests. Target 30, 28, 32. AGB exploded the breakaway gap in April, ran up sharply, pulled back, tested, and then it took months to retest. This needs to get over 2.5 with energy. Keep an eye on this one. AGI is a junior gold that I really like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. It's got a 1, 2, 3 underway. We may reach upwards of 20.5, 21, my swing target. ANGO in the biotech sector, breakaway gap through a declining top sign. It took a year to develop. More than that. Breakaway gap, pullback wedge, run up and retest, and pull back a little bit. Should this get through 8.25, we might see 9.5. NFLX with a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1/5 of a fifth. Came down and tested, bounced, retested, and now it's forming a larger coil. Overall look is quite bullish. Need to get a breakout over 6 3/4 with volume. AORT in a major rising channel that's been in place since November when it was 12.5, has made it up to 29. Now the pullback engulfing bar on Friday wasn't good, but the overall chart looks very tempting, targeting 30 and 33. APLT popped Wednesday, pulled back Thursday, and popped again on Friday, broke out. Multi-month highs, resistance and target 7.5 and 9.5. ASTS swing, pop, breakout, flag, and then run like the wind from 4 to 20. That's a 5-fold increase just from there in about 2.5 months. Beautiful chart, beautiful swing. Hope some of you took advantage of that one. BBLG exploded, pulled back and tested, exploded again and pulled back and then closed firmly. This is something to keep an eye on with volume and decreasing and OBV strong. This might very well be $6 or $7. Bristol Myers, long-term downtrend may have been broken. The stock spiked off the triple bottom out of a mini base, pulled back to the moving averages, which were crossing over, and then a big run up to 51, now consolidating. Next target 55. Casi Pharmaceuticals broke out of the base, little mini wedge, popped to resistance, pull back. This one looks like it could stair step us higher towards double digits. Targets 8 and 9. CDNA, beautiful inverse head and shoulders, popped and broke out. This is a tech-traded swing. Coil, pop, flag, pop, spike actually on Thursday, reaching all the way up to 26.5. And a little bit extended short term, but I like the look of it. If this is a 1, 2, 3, then we're going to get 4 and 5, maybe even see mid-30s eventually. CINT, multiple waves down, spikes up, and it goes into a rising channel. What a beautiful chart. Completely missed this one. Next target, 6 3/4 and 8. CL, well, some of the, if you'll take a look at my weekly market briefing and market summary, I talk about some of the blue chips that have done very well, like Procter & Gamble, Philip Morris, and Colgate, and things like that. So look at Colgate's chart. What a beauty. It's gone from high 60s to low 100s. Excuse me. It looks like it could extend into the 110 range, maybe 120. CLBT's beautiful rising channel in the software infrastructure group. After breaking out and retesting, it's set up to go higher. 15 and 17 are targets. CMAX, long downtrend, very long downtrend. Matter of fact, that's a reverse split. Explosive move, pull back 2 days, popped again, and pull back and retested. Looks like a nice base, needs to hold it right there. Targets, 8.5 and 15. CNK, the Cinemark, the movie theater chain, beautiful inverse head and shoulders breakout. And the next target for me is going to be 30. I like the overall look. CRBP exploded in January, and this kept going in a rising channel, currently forming a beautiful flag. My target is going to be 70 and 77. CRTO broke breakaway gap in February, pulled back, put a tech trader swing on it, stepped up its way up for the last several months. It has moved from the high 20s to the high 40s. Pulled back Friday, but my eventual target is 54.5. CWAN, interesting pattern. Recent breakout above quadruple top and spiked up on Thursday. Friday did pull back, but extension could take it to 27.8. CYH, breaking out of a base, spiking up to resistance, and pulling back. Extension target, if it continues, 6.5. Daktronics, strong move up, pull back, and another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now in a pullback mode with key support right around 1165, target 18 and 20. DRMA exploded 2 weeks ago, pulled back dramatically, and Thursday and Friday took off in a lousy market. Pretty interesting chart. Big volume of 38 million shares, fell through targets 4 3/4 and 7. The swing trade EBS broke out back in May. We put a swing on it after consolidated. It's moved from 4 to and quadrupled to just about just under 16. Pullback is at support. Careful. Junior Gold EGO Eldorado 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now a consolidation. But if the group goes, I think this goes to the low 20s. ELYM exploded and pulled back in a three-wave falling wedge. And when it broke out a week and a half ago, I put a swing on it at about the 8 range, and it went all up to 9 and change, 920, before backing off towards 8 again. It needs to get back over 9 1/4 half to get going. EverQuote, beautiful rising channel, and now 1 year in the making, having gone from 5 and change to high 20s. The pullback is an opportunity, I think. The stopping point would be under 20.5, 21. FEIM exploded and pulled back. We put a swing on it, but it never got going. Really rolled over hard Friday, then reversed. Finished well, 1327 after being all the way down to 1169. But it's got to get to 14 to get going. If so, 16 target. FENG, this little stock kept stair-stepping. I finally put it on my watch list. Pop, falling wedge, pop, coil, pop wedge again. Target 5. Fluor, the engineering construction firm, finally broke out, pulled back and had an engulfing day on Friday. Didn't close great. Nevertheless, it was up on a down day. Target 55. Look at GoDaddy Go. The stock broke out here in November of last year in the high 70s and has doubled to 153. Just about. Beautiful rising channel. Extension target 158.60. GDS breaks out of a base, breaks through resistance, coils, pops, and now it's got a little bit of a falling flag type pattern right here. Need to break out of that. Next target 15. GERN or Geron breakaway gap and a big one. Flag, pop, pullback. This was a swing. It still is. It broke out. A three-wave corrective wedge. One more target, 7. GH broke out, breakaway gap, pull back and tested moving average, pop to resistance on the target, and they give you another neat, orderly parallel channel pullback right there. Broke out, retested a couple times. It's got a really nice momentum, good chart, but the pullback needs to be watched on Thursday and Friday. Stop under 30.5. GILD. What a beautiful pop breakout, pullback retest, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4. Looking for one more wave. I think this gets to 80, 81. You know, on any of these, we're talking about market permitting, of course. GVA, big construction engineering firm, Granite, breaks out, stair step up to the target right at 72 and pull back. If it continues, you might see 77, 80. Hellesheim broke out of a base with a breakaway gap. It's in a rising channel, looking very strong, but it has pulled back to support. Target 58.60. Harrow, tech trader swing, broke out, wedged, has been stair stepping its way higher. You look familiar? This is my favorite pattern. When I see a chart that looks like this, I'm all over it. The stock went from 14.15 to 26.7. Looking for 30. Huma breaks out of a base, retests it. Sharp move back up again, forms a little coil, pops out and retests. Looking for 12 and 15 eventually. IDYA breakout. Got the resistance several times, couldn't get through 44 and backed up hard on Friday. Keep an eye on this one. It needs to hold 38, and it's right there. Targets at 44 and 48. INOD breakaway gap, rising channel. If it looks familiar, this is my favorite pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looking for fifth wave to the high 20s. INSM big breakaway gap and rising channel. It may have one more leg to go. I'm looking for 85, 88. Innoviva, inverse head and shoulder breakout, retest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Big spike up this week. But I am looking for maybe a continuation to 20.5, 21. IVP, after a long downtrend, exploded. Did a Fibonacci retracement. Now it's popped right back up again. But with low volume and unable to get the resistance, careful about a potential rollover. It's got to go to over 1020 with energy to resurrect the trend. Jumaya, after 5 waves up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, finally rolled over and broke support. Initial support anyway. Secondary support, 8 3/4, must stop under that. If it goes, targets 14 and 18. KNSA, breakaway gap out of a base. Beautiful little wedge, but it broke down Friday. Nevertheless, it wanted to hold 23. Targets at 27 3/4, 28, and 31. I mentioned some of the larger cap consumer product stocks that have done very well. Take a look at Coke, which last October was 51, and today it tagged 69.67 on Friday. Multi-year highs, if not all time. Yep, all-time high for Coke. KOLD we mentioned earlier, very strong trend. Lgvn, a long downtrend. This is a reverse split stock that exploded, pulled back, exploded again, and now it's pulled back again in wave 4. Will there be a 5th wave? 6, 8, 10, all potentials. LSF exploded, falling wedge, flag, pop, another one, pop, and now a larger coil. 6.5 and 9 longer term targets. LTH, beautiful uptrend, breaks out of a base and just keeps running for like 3 months. New all-time high was tagged Thursday. It pulled down Friday morning and reversed. Looks like this could go higher, targeting 25, 28. WMN, one of the more impressive rallies, 15 days in a row up, and it went from basically about $1 to over 420, so a 300% increase, and then the pullback. Let's see what happens here. But with that kind of momentum, we may see extension after some consolidation. MDIA, explosive move. Saw it go from literally 35 cents or 40 cents to 686. It's like a 15-fold increase in a week and a half. So you're going to get your pullbacks. You certainly got one. The falling wedge popped again, however, and then it formed a coil, and now it's got a little mini falling wedge. Target 6.5. MYO is a tech trader swing after breaking out and wedging. It started to run, but got pulled down by the market. It's back at support. Needs to hold around 4, targeting 5 3/4, 6 3/4. NBIX, beautiful long-term chart. After consolidating for months, it broke out Thursday, it pulled back Friday, filled the gap, and bounced right back again. This one looks like it could fly. Target 170. NRIX, gorgeous chart. 45-degree angle parallel channel. Continue to pop, pull back, pop, pull back, pop flag, pop flag. I think it's a stock that has designs on being a $35 stock. Big move, maybe. OMCL breaks out of a base, spikes, and holds on Friday to make a new high above this high. Now open to move into the mid-40s. Oscar breaks out of a multi-week, 2-month downtrend, tags at 50 and then backs off. If it gets to that high, above 1880, we're looking at 21 and 23.5. PCT, multiple bottoms, spike up, platform, breakout, retest, target, 8 3/4 and 11. PIRS, big spike and a beautiful little wedge. Will it extend? Next target 22. RMW, nice base breakout run up. This bothers me. So keep your stops underneath 20, 20.25. If it goes, 25 target. RDW, breaking out of a base, running up to the channel top, and then pulling back to test. Next target is 9. If it doesn't break down, the stop is under 5 3/4. REVG, beautiful rising channel, and has been in one for a year, taking it from around 10 to around 30. Next target 35. Rivian broke out, pulled back on wedge. We put a swing on it. It did a nice run to target number 1, but now it's pulled back. Needs to hold it right about there where the moving average and price support is. If it does go, 18.5, 21 targets. RKT, Rocket Companies, base breakout, coiling pattern, and then an engulfing reversal bar on Friday. A very bullish one. Tells me this may go in the high teens, 1920. RNA has been spectacular all year, but since last November in particular, when it was 5. From how about 5 to 48, folks. Any way you look at it, more than an 8-fold increase. Next target conceivably 60. RSI, nice chart, nice rising angle, targeting 13-14 zone. Resolute, after a nice run up, it's going to go from under $1 to over 6. It's pulled back and now coiling. At the apex, careful. Going to go either way. SDST, I don't know what this is. Maybe it was listed on bulletin board or something, but it popped, pulled back hard, and then exploded. Literally, in 3 days, went from 6.5 to 28. Hard pullback and a nice bounce. 2 inside days in a row. Watch this one for a move over 17.5 to 65, which could trigger a much bigger move into the low to mid 20s. SCRV, breakout of a base with a breakaway gap, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm looking for another wave. This could conceivably be a $20 stock. Sprouts markets, beautiful long-term chart. Breakaway gap and a wedge forming, something to keep your eyes on. Should it go? 104, 115 targets. SLQT, I like the overall look. Here's a base pattern breakout. It got up to resistance and backed off, but it did a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this might be only 1 of 5, and we're looking for 2, 3, and 4, 5. Anyway, bottom line, target is 6. SMMT, big reversal, platform, and pop. And should this get above 12, we might see 14, 15. SCI, a beautiful breakout of a base, exploded in 1 day in particular here, 865 to 1140 in 1 day, and eventually made it up to 13 and change before pulling back. My target, 14.75. Spry with a beautiful run up, that's a biotech, a consolidation and breakout, and now a retest. Should it go, 13, 14 is my target. SRTS, big reversal here, wedge, pop, falling flag or so. That would be more of a falling channel, but it's a wave 4 pullback. Wave 5 began, and then pulled back with the market. However, my target is 7.75, 9.5, if and when it goes. TBIO with a 4 million share spike up, breakout through a base pattern and resistance. Now targeting 8. TBLT, rounding bottom, pop, pull back with a wedge pattern, a little flag, and a breakout. Extension target 7.5 and 8.5. TIGO breaks out of a consolidation, kind of a wedge in here, breakaway gap, popped to $1.87 or 8%. Now looking for 27.5 target. TKNO woke up a couple weeks ago and it's been acting great ever since. It's a run that took it from $1.25 to $4.25, and now it's set up this beautiful pennant. Target 5 and 6. Another one I forgot to mention before in terms of consumer products, besides Procter & Gamble, was Unilever. Look at that chart. Breaks out of a base with a gap, runs up. It's a big 1, 2, and this is a 3. If we get a 4th, we might see mid to high 60s at some point. I'm going to move down a list at VSTO, beautiful rising channel, hit the channel top and resistance and backed off. Still looking for more, 42.3. WGS is a tech trader swing, popped out, flagged, popped again, flagged, and just kept running. Not a good day Friday for it. Keep your eye on it. Key support, 25. Current support, 27.5, 3/4. ZAP, Beautiful pop coil after doing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. May need to break out and run some more. Targets are 16 and 20. And finding Zeta on the long side, which we gave you back here when it had a breakaway gap in April around the 1190-12 range, has made it up to double at 25.53. Needs to come off the channel maybe, do some constructive consolidation, and maybe we can see high 20s. That's a look at the longs. There are some shorts to cover. Let's do it. I included ALAR this week, despite the fact it was a tech trader. Watched this stock for months. It finally broke. Double bottom, shallow bounce, then a rollover. I'm looking for this to get down to 18.5 3/4, and then 14.5 3/4. APH, big hit, big snapback, got hammered. Literally went in 2.5 days from 67 to 58. Now it's looking even lower, but I would like to see it bounce from mid-channel at least. BBWI breaks here, comes down, bounces, comes down, bounces. It doesn't look good, folks. This is one ugly chart. BRBR hit a massive top, broken, and a wedge forming. I may want to short this stock. Looking for 41 and 35. Constellation Energy, utility type stock. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. This is a pretty toppy looking pattern, and it twice could not get through. And now you can see the disaster pullback. Any further damage here, you probably plunge towards 140.42. CLS also broke this week, completing a large rising channel. I have a target now down there, 41.22. CMG, after a 10-for-1 split, got hammered, but it did try to rally. Now it's pulled back to test. Only if it gets above 55 would I be covering and or going long. Crocs broke hard, bounced, and closed hard. And once this gets below 118, I think we're looking at 110, 99, 88, something like that. Disney's been in a downtrend since it broke here with a gap and put a wedge on, and then I put a swing out there on the short side from 104 down to 89. There's gap support at about 88, 87, 88. So EDU broke a top. I'd love to see a snap back to 85, 86, 87 to get involved on the short side, particularly if it's on low volume. And then a rollover that couldn't sue down towards the mid 50s, maybe low 50s. EME cracking, it appears. Big down day Friday. And it looks like connecting these lows. This may have broken on Friday for a short. Keep an eye on MCOR. FCX with a head and shoulder top or breakdown, snapback, breakdown again at the gap. If it doesn't hold, it may come down towards 37.8. FND, head and shoulder top with a double right shoulder, breakdown a bear flag. Next target down is going to be a retest of 75.6. FORM, this semiconductor got whacked with the group. Love to see, and it broke everything as a result. Looking for a snapback to 45, 46 zone for a short. It takes us down to low 30s. INFA broke its trend here from the little bear flag there. Another one, and then a bigger one there. That's when I knew this thing was headed lower. And with this hit, the eventual target now is going to be 20. INMD, pretty ugly chart, folks. It doesn't look better. This is the lowest level we've seen since the end of 20. And it did have a little bit of a dip and rip back today. Nevertheless, I would stay short until it breaks out. JBL, massive head and shoulder top, broke down today. Next target will be a test of 89.90 and then a hard test of mid-70s. MDB, 1, 2, 3, 4, and fifth wave starting with the target now at 185. NVO broke down from the bear flag. Beautiful setup for lower levels. Targeting 120 and 112. ONTO also broke hard and took out secondary support as well. May get a bounce up, but at some point it could be a short into the 130 range. PACR also broke from the little bear wedge and backed off Thursday, Friday. It's right on key support there. Any further damage, and you're looking at 88. Qualcomm, little mini head and shoulder got smashed right down to secondary support. May bounce, but keep an eye on it because if it does, and it does so weakly, then I'd look for 140. Schwab broke down, rising bear wedge, right to the gap, filled it, and backed away like it was poison. We'll see if it cracks. If it goes below 59, I'm looking for 55 and 50. SC broke on kind of a head and shoulder top, and it's heading down towards first support at 57. Secondary support, 52. Sigma Jewelers has been on my boxer shorts list and tech trader swing short for a while. It finally broke down, wedge, and broke down again. And you can see the big drop on Friday. Uber has broken key support as well after breaking a long-term trend line. Danger here, the stock is maybe headed for 50. Ulta, massive top, breakdown, secondary support being tested. You go below that, you're looking at 3305 and then 265. Workday, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, breakdown, snapback, and you get hammered, snapback, and you get hammered again. Not done yet. I'll tell you what, if it takes out this 200, 205 range, it could plunge into the 177 area. Western Digital also rolled over. And again, I'm looking for it because it's short-term oversold. I'm looking for a bounce up towards resistance, maybe 62.34, and then a rollover into the mid-50s or worse. Wingstop looks like it peaked. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, rounding top, whatever you want to call it, on the neckline. Any further damage, you're looking at 320. WSM could be head and shoulders, could be just a topping trading range, but it looks like it's about to crack. Careful. Next target 125 and 110. Yelp broke down, rising wedge, broke down. It's in a pattern that is not conducive to going higher, that's for sure. Next target 33 and 31. And that is it for me, folks. Look at the longs, the shorts, the underlying technicals. A very nasty look to the market, folks. That's all I want to say. But a lot of times you get that just before the market, explodes, catching everybody flat-footed. Now, just a quick check with the futures before I go. It is now around 7 p.m. Eastern. We're down 314 and 57. It's going to be nasty tomorrow. Most likely, this is HB out. Have a great weekend or the rest of your day anyway. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Good night.